Last week I purchased the Smoke Hollow Smoker from Sam's Club. Model number is PS4400. This is a fairly good sized smoker, uses LP gas, and has 2 burners. I've been planning all week to cook a brisket this weekend. For this smoke today, we're going to use a single burner. I apologize for the dark pictures. It's about 6:45 a.m. in the morning, and I woke up to a very cold rain this morning. Now that we have the smoker warmed up, the first thing I want to do is line the chip pans and the water pan with aluminum foil. The only reason to line these with aluminum foil is to reduce the amount of cleanup at the end of the smoke. I'm a little anal in trying to make sure the aluminum foil conforms to the pan. What I don't want to do is add water to the pan and have it rip through the aluminum foil. We're going to use mesquite wood chips for this smoke. First thing we're going to do is soak them in water to make them last a little bit longer as they've been smoked. I've read a lot of different things on the internet as to whether or not this is effective, so for this smoke today we're going to try it out. You'll notice the smoker was at 212 degrees. About 15 minutes ago it was at 230 degrees. Quick look outside. It is now snowing. So I'm going to turn up the heat on the smoker just a little bit to try and get it back up to about a 220 range. The brisket has been in the fridge overnight with a rub on it. This morning I want to pull it out, insert a meat thermometer into one of the briskets, and get it ready to go on the smoker. I let the mesquite chips soak for about half an hour. Now I'm going to transfer them to the smoke bins. I'm using both mesquite chunks and mesquite chips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put several chunks in each of the pans, and then I'm going to fill in the gaps and the open spaces with the chips. Next we're going to move everything out to the smoker. As I mentioned earlier, this is a 2-burner smoker. So we're going to load up both bins. We're going to cook off of 1 burner. In about 2 hours I'll come out and I'll shut down the 1 burner and I'll move over to the 2nd burner with the fresh chips. Next we'll get the water pan put into the smoker. We'll fill it up with water and we'll put the meat in the smoker. I'm using a remote thermometer that will give me the temperature of the meat as well as the temperature of the smoker. I have a low set for the smoker of 210, a high for 230, and the meat at 185. Smoker's been running for a little while. Wanted to come out, check the temperature. You'll notice temperature gauge on the smoker is about 220. On my thermometer it is 203. I have the temperature probe for the thermometer down a little ways on the shelf where the heat at the top is a little bit hotter. We're approximately 3 hours into the smoke now, so now it's time to give the meat a little bit of a bath. The spritz I'm using for the meat is a mixture of oil and apple cider. Now we're 4 hours into the smoke. I spritzed the meat again. I also added a Polish sausage for lunch. 5 hours into the smoke, I pulled one of the briskets off of the smoker. I'm going to wrap it in aluminum foil, add some apple juice to it, seal it up, and let it finish cooking wrapped in the aluminum foil. The other brisket, I'll leave it cooking on the smoker as it is. Now I'm 6 hours into the smoke. Time to spritz the meat on the top rack. We're about 10 hours into the smoke now. The meat's at 178 degrees. I'm going to take the meat out of the smoker, wrap it in aluminum foil, and let it rest on the cabinet for about the next 30 minutes. The first brisket we're going to carve is the one that I left open on the rack all afternoon. The first thing you're going to notice is I should have let the brisket come up a little bit hotter. Ideally, I would have let it get to 185 degrees. I was anticipating it cooking a little bit more wrapped in aluminum foil, but the temperature never went up. Notice the nice smoke ring around the meat. The taste of the meat is actually very good. It would have been nice if it was just cooked a little bit longer. Now we're going to trim the second brisket. This is the one that was wrapped in aluminum foil, soaking in apple juice during the final cooking stages. I'm going to carve off this little piece of fat, let my dog have it. He'll enjoy it. This brisket is a lot more tender than the other brisket was. This brisket actually has a wonderful flavor to it as well. Next time when I cook these briskets, the lessons I learned from this burn was that I need to get them to internal temperature of 185 quicker, and then let them set at that temperature for a few hours to help melt some more of the fat off of it. Overall though, this was a very successful smoke.